Hi guys, hope you're all well. As I said in my previous email sent to you yesterday, or Tuesday, sorry, I prefer to do a video link as, I think it is a little bit more personal. Unfortunately, we're not able to speak face to face to everybody, and that is something that we do here in Little Scholars. We would rather speak to people face to face, but unfortunately, under these circumstances, we can't. I can't possibly phone every single person, so I think this is the best way to keep you up to date and let you know what I know so far. As I said on Tuesday, we were waiting for more updates yesterday. We did receive something, not an awful lot of what we were expecting, and didn't really answer any of the questions that I had. So I'm going to just fill you in what I know so far. So as you know, our staff have been all still working from home. They are keeping you all up to date with activities that's been sent there via email, and we also have our WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp groups have been fantastic. It's a brilliant way for us to keep in contact with the children and for the children to see a familiar face, because they've been away an awful long time now. It's 3 months nearly since they've been away from us. So I'm sure they're missing their friends and their teachers and stuff as well, especially the younger children as well, are not going to be as familiar with the staff when they come back. So, the WhatsApp groups really are a good way for us to keep in contact, and the videos and pictures of the children coming in are absolutely fantastic. I can see they're all having a great time at home. So our girls obviously have been doing that. Also, they have been doing training which have been given to them as well. So they've been doing 1 week, every week they've been doing a short course online for training, and they have also been doing pop quizzes, and that is all based around our policies and procedures. So it's just keeping the girls all up to date and keeping things fresh in their mind as well. And they are also at home doing curriculum planning, so they're setting themselves up basically for coming back. So they have been working hard, the girls at home. So we'll move on then to what we know so far. So our opening up, we are due to open up on the 29th. So the early years regulations, ratios and the space requirements are to remain the same. However, these play pods, which I'll get to now, the sizes of these are to be confirmed, so the maximum sizes. So we are still unsure on how many children at max we can have within a play pod, but we know that the ratios are staying the same, which is great, and it's a load off our mind, because that was something that we were very unsure of, if we needed to reduce ratios, and that was going to be a major concern on our captivity of how many children we were going to be able to take back in. So we are pleased to know that our ratios are staying the same, but as I said, we're still awaiting to see what the maximum pod size will be. So our play pods, which I will get into now, is what they have set out is a play pod consists of a group of children and a key worker who remain with the children in the same pod throughout the day as far as possible. So what that means is that we work on a key worker system here anyway. So you will always have the same staff member that is with your children, unless they're on annual leave or something like that, and then we'll replace them. So that is something we always had in effect anyway. With the play pods, it's going to be a little bit more intense. So we will have then the same staff member that is going to be with the same children. So these same children will be in their pod as such. Now, when we come to the likes of our baby room and then our smaller toddler room, they will be unchanged. They're going to stay the same. Their pod will be their room. So because they are a small group of children, they won't need to be split or anything like that. So they're going to remain the same, and their key worker then will remain the same in that room as well. When it comes to the bigger rooms, we can have then different pods, 2 pods possibly, we're waiting on the sizes, within one room. So the way we are going to work that is we are going to have to section the room using our shelving units. So we are going to have then, you know, possibly 8 children on one side with one staff member, which is the ratio, and 8 children on the other side. I know this is not normal, guys. We fully understand this, but this is the guidelines that are in place, and we need to abide by them, and we need to make this as normal and as fun as possible that we can for the children. So I understand totally why they're doing it, and it is all about, you know, direct contact with children. So it's minimizing the contact the children are going to have with each other and with staff members as well. So I fully support it and understand why they're doing it. It's going to be quite strange for the children coming back. We fully understand that. We're prepared for that, and we're going to try and make it as fun and as normal as possible that we can for them. Our challenges now that we are going to face with this play pod is our start and finish times for the staff, for their lunch breaks, and for the likes of nappy changes. So to try and minimise, what they're recommending is to have the same staff member in the pod at the same time. Now this is not going to be realistic, because obviously somebody is going to have to go in at some stage to relieve the staff member, to go on the likes of their breaks, and if they are with younger children, to change nappies and things like that. So our solution then we have for that is to have the same staff member that will cover these breaks. So where possible, it'll be the same staff member that will be going into that same pod each day, covering the likes of breaks, nappy changes or that. So it's minimalising it down to the same 2 people that will be going in and out in the pod each day. And we are going to have like a login system that is going to be out each side of the doors. So what will happen is, if, for instance, I had to be called into my pod to relieve someone, I'll sign outside the door, my name, the date, the time I went in, and the time I went out. So what this is all about, guys, is just for, you know, it's like a tracking system. So God forbid if anybody was to get COVID-19, it's just minimalising it down to who we know who was in contact with that child over them last few days. So fully understand that as well. So that is our solution for that. Our challenge again with that is going to be sick leave or annual leave for our staff members, which, you know, is a possibility that can happen. So this is another challenge then. Obviously somebody needs to replace their pod. So our solution then for that is to try and appoint another staff member to that pod, which will be consistent of that same staff member that is going into that pod. So it's minimalising then, you know, the traffic flow through the room to the children. So we'll have to, you know, work with that as we go along. Social distance is not required within the pods, because realistically they're very aware of that when they were doing it. And, you know, this was a concern for ours as well, is, you know, it's not possible to social distance children. It's not in their nature. It's in their nature to play, to physically play with each other. And that's what children are about. It's how they learn. It's how they interact. So this is the whole point of the pods, that it's going to be the same children within the group. So they don't need to social distance, and where possible with the staff member as well. So, you know, we will try and, you know, distance ourselves as much as possible. But, you know, if a child hurts themselves or they're a bit upset, they need a hug, we need to be able to do that. So this is okay under these guidelines, that we don't need to fully social distance with the children, and they don't need to distance themselves. However, it is recommended for anybody then over the age of 6, which would come into our after school category, it is recommending that they're asked to keep social distance and avoid physical contact to the extent where possible. So, you know, these guys are a little bit older. They understand a little bit more. I'm sure they're a little bit more aware now of what's been going on, that it's kind of the norm to them as such, that they know they need to social distance. So this is recommended that we ask them to do it. So that is something we need to monitor kind of with the after school kids. But as I said, we can explain and speak to them, so it's a little bit easier than what our younger children are. So as I said, our larger rooms may contain more than one pod, provided that there are partitions that prevent physical contact between pods. So I've already explained that. So that is what one of the recommendations are. We are going to use our furniture in the room to use that as a partition to divide the room into 2 pods. Social distance is to remain the same between the staff and the parents, so you're still 2 meters apart from each other. Our solution for that is the staff's breaks will be taken off the premises. So the staff are not permitted to stay on the premises whilst they're having their lunch. We normally would have a free room at lunchtime for the girls, and they normally go get their lunch and they'll all go into the room together for a chat or whatever and have their lunch. That's not going to be happening for a while. So the staff are aware of that already, that they need to take their breaks off the premises. So unfortunately, parents will not be permitted to enter the premises. So this, guys, is just, it's realistic that we need to, minimise the traffic flow that's coming into the creche. So we are going to have to have like a drop off and collection for children, and that will be through our garden, our front door, our side door, or our back door. So we're going to have these as like collection points as such. So it's to kind of minimise how many people are flowing through the corridors and things like that as well. So depending on your room, you will be given then an allocated collection and drop off point where you will go to. So basically what would be the easiest thing to do is, if you come to our front door here, you ring the buzzer, let the guys know you're here. We constantly are going to have a floating staff member as well that will go get your child ready, and then you go to your collection point and the child will be bringing to you at your collection point. This is just to, avoid too many people outside at the same time or coming through the front door. So if you go to your collection point and there is already somebody there, obviously you keep your distance outside as well, your 2 meter distance. We're all used to this at this stage, guys. Like, it's quite normal for us all to know you stay your distance if someone's there. These are just measures we need to be putting in place, guys. So, as we get a flow going, it'll be, much easier. But starting off, it's going to be a little bit difficult until everybody gets used to what we need to be doing. So yeah, we have our collection points then. So when the children arrive in, guys, we need to check their temperature. And this goes for staff members as well. So everybody's temperature is going to have to checked on arrival, and they will be also done throughout the day. Anything that comes in over 37.5, guys, is classed as a temperature, and the children will either be refused entry to the creche, or you will get a call to come pick them up and they will be sent home. This is in our guidelines, guys. This is very important, and I hope you all fully understand where we're coming from with this. We understand, babies especially, they run temperatures for teething. They can run temperatures if they've a bit of a cold. We understand that, and under normal guidelines, we understand that, we know it's teething or it's that, but under these guidelines we cannot take any risks. So please work with us, and please understand that if you get a phone call, your child's temperature is over 37.5, they need to go home, guys. So we really need you to work with us on that. And as I said, it goes for staff members as well. They'll all be checked coming in as well. I'll just quickly say, because I'm not going to focus on this, guys, I have it here down on the list, and the ECCE is gone for the moment. So I'm sure you're fully aware of that. Our ECCE did only run up until the 26th of June, and we are due to open on the 29th of June. So going forward as normal, that would have ceased anyway. So the funding for that had been taken away. As you know, in April, all our funding schemes were all taken away. So that is not going to be reinstated until hopefully September, but we still haven't got any, clarity on that, if that is 100% going to be going ahead in September, and also what the guidelines are going to be for ECCE as well, because they obviously are different ratios. It's 11-1 for them, and some of our rooms could have 22 children in them with 2 or 3 staff members. So we are unsure how this is going to work, and if the pod system is going to be still in place for them as well. So we will keep you up to date further along the line for that, guys. Our priority is opening up and getting our full daycare kiddies back in at the minute. So it is on my list here, so I just mention it. We will keep you then up to date on that, and obviously then our pod sizes are still to be confirmed as well. Going on to infection control then, guys. So as I said, all the staff and children temperature will be checked on arrival. Do not arrive if you are experiencing any symptoms, either yourself or your child. You do not come to the creche. And that is actually under the guidelines, that if you experience any symptoms or you have a viral infection, you can come in. Even if the doctor tells you it's only a viral infection, children are not permitted, and this is under the guidelines, guys. We need to go by this. So please do not bring your children in if they have a viral infection or are shown any signs that is listed under COVID-19. We can't take them in, guys, and you know, we will be sending them home if they do show signs of them. Hand washing. So our hand washing practices are before. So, you know, it's frequent use of hand sanitizers. Also, the children are well aware that they constantly have to wash their hands. It'll be a case, obviously, when the children are coming in, their temperature will be checked, and they will be using hand sanitizers as well. We are equipped in all the rooms. They always had a hand sanitizer bottle in their room. We're actually equipped in the rooms with the hand sanitizers that are on the wall, and we're getting the foam one for them. So it's kind of easier, and it stops dripping on the floor, which could be a potential hazard. So we are going to have them at low level in all the rooms, so the children are fully aware that, you know, after any activities, once they move on to anything else, they're going to have to go and clean their hands. So that is, you know, as before, as we always had done anyway, but just a little bit more vigilant on that then as well. The PPE, so our personal protective equipment, is not required. So we are very, very pleased to hear that, because we were under the illusion that we could possibly have all had to wear face masks and gowns. Now, we were afraid we were going to actually terrify the children with this, because some of them haven't seen us in a very, very long time, especially the young children. And we opened the door and we've to take them off a parent at the door, and we're kitted out with a mask on us, a gown and everything. We'd frighten the children. So we welcome this, that we are not, you know, required to wear PPE at all times when we're with the children. Unless, obviously, as before, as normal, we wear our plastic aprons and our gloves when we're doing nappy changing, so that will continue. And, you know, if staff are around each other, they will have to wear face masks, but not with the children. So the whole point of the pods was because of that then as well, that the staff member doesn't need to wear the PPE around the children. So it's trying to keep things as normal as possible for. So that is just to try and keep everything as normal as possible for the children. Under infection control, the staff have been informed that they will need to bring their uniform into work with them, so they don't wear their uniform on the way into work. So they need to bring in a fresh, clean uniform and change once they come in here, so that will be their footwear and everything as well. So the staff are aware of that, so that's just another thing to prevent any infection control coming in, that they come in and they're going to change into a clean uniform each day, and also that will be changed then when they're leaving for their lunch breaks and coming back as well. So that's just an extra precaution we're bringing in for infection control. Okay guys, so moving on to reopening. So we are due to reopen on the 29th of June, which is not too far off, guys, and we have been very, very busy in here trying to get everything ready for that. So we've a busy couple of weeks ahead of us. That is phase 3. So initially indicated by the roadmap, we were to resume on the 29th only for essential workers. So that has now been widened, guys. So it is now, and I will quote, parents who continue to need childcare for employment and training purposes. So guys, that covers everybody, I'm assuming. So unless you have lost your job and you're at home and you are not working, then that doesn't cover you. You are not going to fall into that bracket. I'm assuming 99% of you guys are all working from home. So I'm working from home, guys. I've been working from home since we closed in March. I had an 8-month-old baby. I know it's difficult. when you are trying to work at home and you have children there as well as a distraction. I fully understand how, how difficult it is to do that. So, I'm fully with you on that, guys. So you need to come under that bracket. When it's saying parents who continue to need childcare for employment and training purposes, you are under employment, you are working from home. That should cover you. So, you should be sending the children back on the 29th also as well. So as I said, this is all to depend on our pod sizes, the maximum sizes of the pod. So we are hoping that none of that kind of changes, as in the ratios. The ratios are staying the same, but under determination of the pod sizes, we are hoping to be able to take everybody back in as normal from the 29th of June, because you are working, guys. We know that, and we understand how hard it is to work from home. So that, was to, parents who are working from home. And then what was only added in yesterday was subject to availability, children who did not previously attend the creche. So that would come under anyone that was due to start with us anytime after the 12th of March up until the 29th of June. If you were due to start with us then, you are coming in under that bracket as well from the 29th of June, that you are okay to start with us as well. So obviously we'll do that in as a phase-in basis, like we would with any child that's starting with us as well. So you won't be coming in full day on the first day. We would also be recommending that, guys, for everybody that's coming back also as well. We would, recommend and advise where possible to not send the children in for a full day as such as what they would normally be doing for the first week. If at all possible, you are working from home, if you can cut their hours down slightly, drop them in a little bit later, pick them up a little bit earlier. The guys haven't been with us in over 3 months. It's going to be difficult for them to adapt, like us all, to adapt going back to work and getting back into a routine. So we would recommend that where possible, if you could kind of reduce the hours for the children for the first week or two, that would be great, just for their benefit. So the Minister is encouraging providers and parents to make contact with each other so that they have the level of demand and supply for places from the 29th of June onwards, and it can be known. So guys, this is what we're doing. We've been communicating, as I have been, keeping you in the loop and updated on information that I have been receiving. Although it's been, frustrating, guys, because I haven't been receiving a lot of information over the past few months. It's been very stressful for us. We were left in the lurch of the unknown for, so many months that we absolutely had no idea. Really up until last week when they start giving us these guidelines, we had absolutely no idea how we were going to reopen, when we were reopening, who we were allowed to take in, what the guidelines were. We didn't even know about these play pods. This is all only new news to us, guys. So as I get this information, I am forwarding it on to you. So I haven't been keeping anything from anybody. The emails I've been sending over the last couple of months are literally what I know. And the stuff that I'm filling you in on now, guys, was actually released on the news before we even knew about it. So in all hindsight, you guys know as much as I know. When that's released on the news is when we get an email in and actually tells us. So we don't get a heads up on anything, which is an absolute disgrace, to be honest with you. We really need to know what is going on. And I've been asking multiple questions and they have not been answered for me. So I'm going to get to that now. So it does say then priority is to be given to essential workers. So this is all going on, our captivity of how many children that we're actually going to be able to take into the premises. If, an issue does arise from that, it has to be prioritised. So the way it's going to be prioritised, obviously, is what essentially was the 29th of June of what it was for, was initially for frontline workers. So if you come onto that bracket as a frontline worker, your child is guaranteed to be taken in first. So underneath that then, guys, is, anyone that is in need of childcare, you come in under that. However, if you have any outstanding bills, guys, if your account is not up to date with us, you will not be on the priority list for that as well. So that is something that we are very much, keeping track of. We haven't been receiving any parents' fees, obviously. We haven't been receiving any of our fees. The schemes. The schemes were cut off, guys. They were all cut off like from the beginning of April. So that's coming under the NCS, the ECCE, our CCSP, and our tech. So technically, we have had no funding coming into the account. We have been on the wage scheme for the child. We had for the staff. Sorry, we had to sign up to that because our staff needs to be paid, obviously, like all you guys as well. They're doing the work at home. They did need to be paid. So we did sign up to that. We didn't fully agree with certain things that was in it, but we did sign up to that wage scheme. So I'll get to that now in a little bit as well. So just moving on now to what I have wrote down as unanswered questions. So these have been questions that I've been asking. I've been in touch with PUBL, the DCYA, and our Meath County Childcare Committee, and I haven't been getting any answers on them. So as I mentioned already, there was the pod maximum sizes. We're still awaiting information on that. Funding. So that's for any parent, which most parents in the creche were receiving funding under the NCS, the CCSP, TEC, and ECC, as I said, is stopped now anyhow. But these fundings were paused as such, say, in April. We've no word yet if they're going to be reinstated. So that is a major concern. And obviously that is for parents as well. We need to know this. And, as I find out this information, I will pass it on to you. So that is a major one that we need to know going forward, guys.